The first footwork drill I learned in Dan Iniesano's backyard was the lead step 3 ways. So from here, you take the lead step and you're moving forward. Now when you're training, you don't want to, you just take your rear foot and push the front foot forward. Now what you do not want is you do not want to do it like this, a steady rhythm in the same beat. You might go 8 inches, you might go 1 inch. You might pause and then go. Boom, 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 all right? The other step is to step to the left. Step to the left. The other is step to the right. Step to the right. So the lead step 3 ways is to go forward, to the left, to the right. And see, I'm putting this shoulder forward when I go to the right. So it's forward, to the left, and to the right. The lead step is used basically to deliver a hand blow, whether it's a straight lead or a back fist, with stepping forward with the lead foot. You want to really push off the rear foot to get it. And then you measure it off and hit and then recover as quickly as possible. The lead step to the left is to slip outside of your opponent's punch, then striking with your front hand. You can do it with parrying, you can do it without parrying. You can hit high, you can hit low. The step to the right can be done by punching to the inside line with a straight rear punch. So as Nyan punches, Jeremy will slip to the inside by stepping right and strike. You can hit either high or low. And it sets you up perfectly to follow up with a front hook. Now another thing you can do, you can slip inside but punch over his arm. You're crossing over his arm. This is actually what a boxer's cross is. A straight rear is not the same thing as a cross. So this time he slips in and slips to the inside and punches over the arm. He crosses over it. That is actually a cross in boxing. One of the next footwork methods we teach is a simple step back with the rear leg. Now, I can step back with the rear leg to avoid a punch, I can step back to punch, and I can step back to kick. So we're going to show you how we do that now in combat with Nyan and Dennis. Okay, there are different uses for the rear step back. The first one is to avoid a punch. You could just step back, so when he goes to step in and punch, you just step back enough to avoid it. At the same time, you could step back and punch to get the distance exactly correct if the guy's moving in, and boom, you just step back and hit him. That's called a defensive footwork motion. One more time, Nyan moves in, you step back and strike. What I like to do with that is to, sometimes if somebody's coming at you, it's too close to get a really good stop kick in. The rear step back allows you to give you enough distance as your opponent's moving forward to do a shin knee stop kick. Okay, one more time. The idea when you practice, everybody always does the same distance in the same rhythm. You want to vary it deep, a little bit. To go back, the rear foot is a rear step back and then slide. Step and slide, step and slide, step and slide, step and slide, step and slide. Okay? So if Nyan's here, and we have the fighting measure, whichever one of the 3 fighting measures I want to do, if Nyan steps back, I step forward. If he steps forward, I step back. Now watch what happens a lot of time. Nyan steps back, and I step forward. Now look where I am. He can touch me. So I may be drawing an attack because I want him to do that, but more than likely, well, I'm going to keep this fighting measure. So if he's got his fingers here, and he steps back, and I step here, now you see we still have that fighting measure. This is tricky and takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice to be able to get that. He steps towards me, I step back. This time I step back too far. I could be drawing his attack because I want him to now punch with a hand so I can hit him. So the footwork, you have to really, really train it. You have to really, really practice it. But that's the step and slide. Now, some people don't believe in the step and slide. They do more of a step and step. So instead of stepping and sliding, you step and step, which is very, very fast footwork. All right? I'm not the world's greatest at doing this, but I have students who are really, really good at doing a step and step footwork. So I step towards him, he'll step back. So it's a step and step and step like that. This time you're on the balls of both feet. So you're really able to move any direction. This is something that you should practice a lot if you're going to be able to use a step and step. The idea of the step and step is you get very fast footwork. The idea of the step and slide is more ready to intercept. So what I'm doing when I step and slide is I'm kind of stalking the guy. It's kind of more of a stalking footwork. So right of a sudden, all of a sudden I get in enough to be able to shoot an attack. The next footwork we usually work on is called a push step. You can push step forward, you can push step back. The push step is like the step and slide, or like the lead step. But what happens is, with the lead step, my rear foot was pushing the front foot forward, but the rear foot didn't move. If I want to cover a greater distance, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push, and then the rear foot slides up so I'm in the same stance. So I have a lot of tension on my rear foot and I push off. That's a push step. That's usually done to throw a finger jab. Usually, if a guy's, it's at a farther distance from you. So right now, we're at the fighting measure, and my lead step is right there. Okay, I could almost hit him. So if I want to move back a little bit further, my lead step isn't going to work. So what I'm going to have to do is I have to push forward. So the push step forward is with the finger jab. Now to do that, I want the hand to go first. All right? So from here, the hand goes first, and then I push. The reason is I want to hit before my foot touches the ground for power, and this is a large body motion. So it would be practically impossible, if he's any skill at all, for me to push step forward all the way forward and be able to punch him. Not going to happen. So, but from the finger jab, you might be able to get that in. But that's what the push step's for. Also, if he punches me, I can push step back as a defense. He punches, I push step back. All right?